Hello. Welcome into Gamesthetic, episode 98. Alongside with Sparky3. Hope you're having a phenomenal day. Whatever day you're listening or watching this podcast over at youtube.com/Sparky3. Give us a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, be a friend, tell a friend. I got both the boys here. I got Zach, John on Discord. Boys, how we doing? How we feeling?
I'm doing good. I'm ready to go. I mean, we actually had quite a bit come out. One real big thing, then a couple small things for me, and yeah, no, there was actually quite a bit of stuff this week, surprisingly.
Yeah, it was. Gonna have a lot of good conversation. You know, the big thing, of course, he's referring to is Pokemon Presents. We've been waiting on this one for a little bit now, so we're gonna be diving into that, plus some other things. John, what about you? How you feeling?
I'm feeling all right. You guys gave me long enough to wake up.
That is true. John was enjoying a wonderful nap when I hit him up. Hey, Zach's here. Do you just want to do Discord?
I'd woken up a few minutes before you messaged me and looked at the time, and I was like, I should probably try to find some food.
And then pod time.
Yep.
Yeah, we do have some good conversations this week, though, with Pokemon Presents, of course. John and I will continue to talk about Digimon Survive. IGN First for this month is over Gotham Knights, 16 minutes of gameplay there. And then a game from the past making its return. Zach will talk about that here in a little bit. But if you could, go check us out on our website, sparky3.com. You sign up for free or sign up $5 a month. We definitely appreciate that. And make sure to check out all of our sponsors and partnerships that are linked down in the description below. Rogue Energy, Redragon, and SwiftGrips. You'll hear more about them later on in the podcast. And for our merch store, we do have a promo code. Promo code TechProbs makes it return. That's TechProbs with a Z for 25% off. Because we had a Tech Prob right when we're kicking off a terrible football show live. It is what it is. That's Sparky3 for you. I think that's it. I think that's everything. The main things.
Yeah.
You know, follow us over at Twitter. Oh, I will also say this because I sent it out in our Discord. Make sure to join the Discord, of course. That's linked down in the description below. Linked down in the description below as well is a Gamesthetic dedicated YouTube channel. If you guys could subscribe to that, we'd appreciate that. At some point, we want to move over to that channel, but we would want to pass a certain subscriber count before we do. Everything will still be here for now, including when this show goes live, Terrible Football Show live. All that's here at Sparky3. But at some point, we want to move over to those dedicated channels. It's just better for the algorithm. We are very openly acknowledged that how we do business on Sparky3 is not good for business.
No.
Because
I don't know what you're talking about.
the YouTube algorithm will just bury us constantly. I know it will. So that's why we do want to get over to the dedicated channels at some point. So if you could drop and subscribe, we'd appreciate that. It's down below. With that said, let's go ahead and dive into some stuff, I guess, because we do have that Pokemon Presents. So we're going to try the sources thing again that we did last week. We'll see how well this continues to go. I like the idea of it, but the execution of it will just be kind of a rocky path here for a little while until we get to the next setup. You know what I mean? Once we get out into the next setup, I feel like it's going to be smooth sailing because everything's in your control. And we'll have a proper switcher. That's the main thing, guys. We'll have a proper camera switcher and not just using hotkeys.
New tab.
Yeah, exactly. New tab. And then as we're talking about something, I'm like, oh yeah, I want to fact jump. Click, boom, switch scenes. Oh, my bad. Didn't mean to do that. Okay. But kicking things off, of course, Pokemon Presents. We did have that this week. It was about 20 minutes, 10 minutes focus on Scarlet and Violet, which is the main thing to talk about here.
Hold on. Before we get into Scarlet and Violet, what did y'all think about the Pokemon Presents just in general?
I thought it was fine, mostly because the Scarlet and Violet stuff carried the way. I thought the Pokemon Unite stuff was fine because that kind of caught my eye because I have been low key itching to want to play it again.
Mm-hmm.
So that stuff was cool. Cafe Remix, no real opinion. Go stuff. That's cool that we're still doing the Go Fest and everything.
I didn't realize Go had a PvP other than just taking gems.
Yeah, and that's actually a good thing to also point out is I do like the first part of it focusing on worlds,
yes,
and them including Go into worlds, and we knew Unite. That was a given. So it's cool to see both of those will be involved in worlds here soon. I'm looking forward to watching worlds.
I enjoyed the trophy because when they showed off the trophy, I just went. They took a note from Exhibit. I heard you like Pokemon and trophies, so here's a trophy with Pikachu holding a trophy.
Basically. What about you, John? What was your overall thoughts?
I mean, kind of similar to you. I mean, I like the first part about it, like you said. I liked the focus on worlds where they were actually taking the time to bring it up, mention it, and kind of promote it some. And then it was kind of, I mean, Unite stuff, Go stuff. I mean, it's kind of whatever for me. Scarlet and Violet at the end really is, in my opinion, it's kind of what carried everything through on this.
Yeah, the bread and butter.
Yeah, and I mean, overall, it was decent.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything like monumental, I would say, but it was decent. We just got some more information that or confirmation, I would say, of a lot of what we've been hearing.
That is true. There was a lot of confirmation
Yes.
in this presents from the leaks that we just covered a few weeks ago. I will say some of the leaks that we talked about, that same leaker has now come back, but even before this presents came out and put out there that there was like a misunderstanding on his part about a couple of the things. So like a couple of things I'm referring to is like the quality of life improvements that everyone and their mother was very happy to hear stayed in the game from Pokemon Legends, being the move learning and the evolution stuff that is not back in the game.
Oof.
Yeah, so like so and so wants to learn a new move will pop back up again, and you have to go through that whole process like we've always had.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was apparently a misunderstanding on that because this leaker I think just doesn't not very fluent in English is the bottom line. So. And that was also pretty much confirmed in this Pokemon Presents because I think there was like a single shot of where it's like Quaxley wants to learn Wing Attack. It's like, oh yeah, well there's that. So much for the quality of life improvements, but either way, it was a good Presents. A lot of information like they're saying that we had previously talked about in the leaks that have now been confirmed. So like I said, there's about 10 minutes focusing on Scarlet and Violet. Lots of different screenshots here on the screen. We got a lot of information on how the legendaries are being used as well, which are your riding companions. Kind of like how Pokemon Legends, you would have your X amount of beasts, your Pokemon to do X function. Now both these legendaries can do everything, which is convenient. And I feel like we were probably getting to this point eventually anyway.
Yeah.
They started this whole trend in Sun and Moon, where you would summon like Charizard to get around or summon Sharpedo to ride or whatever. So it all started there, and we were kind of getting to this point where it was probably just gonna be one Pokemon eventually. So that kind of makes sense.
Well, so I kind of wish it wasn't the legendary though.
That is true, and that was a lot of people's beef because you get it right at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, it's like because then it's like you have it, and then it's just. I mean, it's just there. It almost feels like it kind of demeans the legendary in a sense because you're just riding it around and using it as a fucking tool.
Shout out to Pokemon 5Ds. That was absolutely incredible. Loved it. I also saw
my beef with it was for the Scarlet version.
He doesn't. He runs.
He runs, but he has those fucking wheels.
Everyone's beef is about that. And that's what I was actually just about to talk about. Like I saw people point out where it's just like it's just because the wheel doesn't work. He's prehistoric, so it's like it's evolution.
But it fucking need it.
You could have changed its design, goddammit.
It's like it could just be the difference where the futuristic one has the wheels and the other one just runs around and flies over it. That would have been fine.
And made it look more primal.
That's fair.
It's like now, because I've always planned on getting Scarlet. Now I'm going to get this goofy ass looking.
See, I was planning on getting Scarlet too. But now I'm like, well, Violet's legendary looks a lot better for using as a transport.
I'm still low key leaning Scarlet, but I don't know, like the whole mindset of like, because the whole theme, of course, of these games is past and future. The future is more my vibe, but like, I don't know, man, the Scarlet Legendary, I still think it looks fucking cool. Like, I mean, that's my preferred of the two.
The Scarlet Legendary outside of
how you ride it.
Yeah, outside of ride mode, it looks awesome.
Well, it will also still come down to what Pokemon is exclusive for both. That's still what it will come down to for me because I like both. Both are cool. So I mean, but at this rate, it sounds like I'm probably gonna play Scarlet because I know Josh is already locked in on Violet. It sounds like you guys are transitioning to Violet, so I may have to.
I mean, I'm still gonna go Scarlet. I'm just not gonna be happy about it.
Okay, fair enough. We also got to look at the Pokemon region. Got an official map, official artwork. Looks very clean. Looks absolutely huge. Lots of different areas on here to check out and explore. See multiple cities and towns, so that's actually pretty sweet there. Looking forward to seeing what more like that middle area is about, and like the couple other spots here and there. But I mean, it is looking like an absolutely insanely huge map. Now let's actually dive into some general information that we got out of this whole process. So Paldea region, that is confirmed to be the name. So shout out to that. There are 3 main stories that you'll follow. The gym battle storyline, the treasure hunt storyline, which is apparently involving like the academy stuff, of course. And then the third storyline they did not address. I did like fact check this on the Pokemon website, everyone's tweets. Like there is no confirmation on what that third storyline is. So keeping a little bit of a mystery there. You can go between all 3 stories at ease, and you will have one rival per storyline. The Arven, Nemona, and Penny. Each of them will be your rivals per storyline. and then you will be enrolling in whatever academy per game. And I would only safely assume that the academy professor, whatever, like the head of the academy, I'm willing to bet is probably your antagonist of the game. He gives off that antagonist vibes. I did see from like the leakers and stuff that the antagonist has already been revealed, so I would put money that it's the guy that leading the academy.
I mean, because he didn't look shady at all.
No, not in the slightest. All right, now the gym battles. So we did get the confirmation that we had previously chatted about that there is no level scaling, but there is no set path. You can seek out a stronger gym if you want to. You can go hit up the 8th gym leader, technically, if you want to, right out of the gates. So now that this is confirmed, how are we feeling about it? Because I see two sides of it online where one side is very upset about it, where it's like, come on, let's scale with it, kind of like they do an actual Pokemon lore, kind of like the Pokemon Origins anime. Brock's like, oh, you know, this is your first gym. Okay, I'll use these instead, because it adds a little extra lore to it. But then I also saw like other people be like, I mean, it's kind of the same principle that Breath of the Wild is. You can literally start the game and immediately go to Ganon if you want to. Like, it's your choice. Yeah. So I've seen both sides of it. What's you guys' take on it now? Still the same?
I'm on the side of like, I kind of like the no level scaling. I like the idea of if you want to go, like there being the progression of power kind of where it's like you can follow it. You could follow the story, like kind of the route dictated by levels and that to kind of follow the intended path or so, or something like that. Or if you want to, you can start the game heading one direction and just go that way and kind of make it work and give yourself a much harder challenge if you want to, if that's what you decide you want to do. I like that there's the option to do that, especially since this is their first time letting us have the option. I like that the option exists in this scenario.
Okay.
I mean, I just like it because it is more or less a progress thing for the Pokemon games, because we've all gotten used to the whole progression thing of you start here and you just travel through the main gyms and then you have side stories here and there. So the fact that they did Legends, it did well, and now we're getting this more open world style with Gen 9. I'm just happy with it because we're getting some variety and they are actually progressing the game and adding new ways of playing it besides just our traditional way we know.
Yeah. I actually completely agree with what you guys are saying, because like at first, like knee-jerk reaction, it's just like, when the leak came out for it, it was like, that kind of sucks, because it is in the lore that's how gyms work. It's just like, I'm your first gym battle, I'm your second, let me use these mons, go for weaker mons, whatever. Like, so it'd make more sense if it's scale. But at the same time, I just remembered, how Breath of the Wild is set up, with, again, you can literally start the game with your, once you get off the plateau, whatever, go straight to Ganon if you want to with a stick and a pot, go for it. Give it your best shot. You can beat the game. So like I kind of like that. I kind of like that mentality of like, hey, if you want to go take on that harder challenge route and make it harder for you, go for it. So I'm personally fine with that. I know a lot of people are still very upset about it though. They did say how you can basically plot your own path along to Victory Road. So Victory Road still being part of the game. That's cool. Once you collect all 8 gems, you will take a special test called the Champion Assessment. Once you pass the assessment, your strength will be acknowledged and you will be given the champion rank. So I was kind of curious about that, the Champion Assessment. Like, is that
the Elite Four?
Yeah, like, is that just the Elite Four and then the champion, or is that something else? Yeah. Can there be more than one champion ranked trainers, So that's something I was kind of curious about there. I wasn't sure what exactly they meant by that, but trying to keep it a secret, of course. And then the new gimmick. Did get the full breakdown on the gimmick, which, we previously talked about being the crystallization stuff. Terrestrial phenomenon is what it's called. So essentially there are the Terra Jewels that the Pokemon will have. The Terra Jewels will differ depending on the type. All Pokemon in the Paldea, I did notice they specifically said in the Paldea region, which tells me anything that you pull from home
will not have it.
Exactly. So I did notice that. That was an interesting little tidbit that I noticed. Are able to terrestrialize. All Pokemon's Terra types is inactive until the Pokemon uses the Terra transformation. At that point, the Pokemon will become their X Terra type, whatever it is. For example, like some EV will just have the normal Terra, but then some will have a flying Terra, for example. All 18 types have Terra types, meaning there are countless combos for Pokemon and Terra types. All Pokemon can have all 18 Terra types, which that was interesting as well. Because that's something me and Josh were talking about the other day, where it's just like, is it going to be set up where only certain Pokemon can get certain types? Like, like let's say like Eevee, for example, since its whole theme obviously has always been the multiple evolutions, could it maybe get all 18? And then maybe let's say Lucario, for example, could only get 5 or 6. Like how would that vary? But no, all 18 Terra types. So that is very interesting, and it's going to be very interesting for competitive. You will need a Terra Orb to transform the Pokemon. It can only be used once and loses energy. That is essentially referring to like megas. It's not it's not like you lose it permanently. It's just referring to simply in the battle. But it's also not a held item, which is very interesting because Mega Stones were. So you can essentially have this like a Gmax transformation, but also still have an item, which is that's pretty wacky in my opinion. You can find the shining crystals scattered all throughout the region, filled with the terrestrial energy, which is we did see in there is like the multiple colors, and those is how you do the Terra raids, which those Pokemon will have whatever Terra type once you get into the raids. So with this whole transformation thing, the one thing that's very interesting is the fact that everyone can have every type, because you got to keep in mind, like, certain Pokemon, will be able to get access to whatever type, but not have a move in that type. So they're just essentially becoming that type just to become that type. So there's like multiple levels of strategy that you can put into this, where it's like you're using a Terra type to give yourself a better advantage in X type capacity, as well as get a bonus stab, because that's also the big draw point with Terra evolution is the stab bonus. Or you can simply be like, oh, based on this is what the team is probably going to run, or like based on whatever the meta is, and you want to use this mon to transform it into a completely different type of a type that it does not have in its move pool, simply just to give it a better type advantage. You won't get a stab, but at least you won't get completely, fucked from, whatever the meta is at the time.
It's basically what I got from it is, even if they don't get a move where you can benefit from the stab for whatever that type is, you're still, since that essentially gives you that type, you're getting all the defensive bonuses of having it.
Yep, exactly. Now, Centro did put up a pretty decent little breakdown here of how the stab essentially works. So they use Magnemite as the example, being electric steel. So it's like regular stab for both those types. You go, let's say, normal type Terra evolution, it gets a pure normal stab but loses the other two. But then if you go like pure electric, which, it is being electric type, it already had a stab as it is, then it gets a bonus stab essentially. So you'll get a 2-time stab because you're Terra evolutioning into a type it already had. So that's actually pretty clutch, because I mean, like an example that I had in our script here was like Lucario fighting steel. So I could Terra type into a fighting type, get 2 times fighting, or Terra type into a steel type, get 2 times steel. If I'm understanding this correctly, based on how everyone's been describing it. So I think that's actually pretty sweet. And that could really be very interesting for competitive. I did see some other people that are involved with the leaks and everything. They did say that this is a lot more balanced for competitive than you initially would think at first knee-jerk reaction. So we're just going to have to see how that plays out. But the Terra Evolution stuff, like, now that it's kind of getting broken down, like, I'm actually here for it. Like, Gmax was really cool. I liked Gmax a lot. I liked planning around, like, okay, this type gets me this bonus, this type gets me this bonus, and it works for all my mons. This one kind of, takes us back to the time where it's like, megas where one mon gets X bonus, whatever. But like, just like the different combinations that you can do with it is very, very fascinating, because you could have a team of 6 Pokemon that can all, use the Terra types. And then you just use based on whatever the situation calls for, or going into in competitive battling and stuff. So I don't know. I mean, I actually think the Terra stuff is actually pretty cool in my opinion. How you guys feeling about it?
I mean, it sounds very interesting. My curiosity, because how they stated that every Pokemon can get any of the other 18 types, but the one thing that they did mention in the trailer is that some Terras are rare for Pokemon. So
yeah, true.
I'm going to be curious what the percentages are and of odds are of just finding out on the field versus having to farm it in their versions of the raids or the Terra raids or whatever.
That's a great point.
Which are going to supposedly have a higher chance for those rare Terras on Pokemon.
Right.
Yeah, I would have kind of same thing. I would assume that the raids are going to be there to give you those rare exceptions.
Yeah, and special like raid events they do normally.
Yeah.
They'll probably do bonus events like, oh, for this weekend, this Terra type whatever is gonna be more common to find. So
Yeah. Overall, I mean, it seems fine. Essentially just replacing whatever your type is with something like with one, or like just changing your type in general. I mean, seems interesting. I mean, we'll have to kind of see how it is. Uh, the only thing, the only problem I have is kind of visually with them, because every single mon that they show that went through this form, they just look fucking goofy.
I knew you were gonna say
even
that,
more
with their crowns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, because they just
The crowns
get
are a
these
hit or a
fucking
miss right
giant.
now online.
It's like they just, I don't know. It's like we haven't seen that many of them. They only showed us a couple of them.
Yeah.
But it's like,
Yeah, we only saw 5 types, I think.
Yeah.
yeah, because you showed, it's like you mentioned like the comparison to Mega earlier. Difference between this from what we've seen so far in the Megas. Most of the Megas
Look cool.
pretty cool looking.
Yeah.
So far, we just got some goofy looking bitches.
I don't care. I'm gonna roll Quaxley until he becomes a fairy Terra.
A fairy Terra.
Hey man, more power to you.
Just think about people who are have to do Nuzlocke with this. If they have to take into account Terras at all, if they're going to bother,
Yeah.
or for people who go shiny hunting, if someone wants to actually play with a shiny and if they're looking for a certain Terra.
Well, okay. I did see that there will be an item to allow you to change Terra types, which is probably gonna be like a late game sort of thing, and tough and kind of hard to get, kind of like all the competitive items in Sword
Gotcha.
and Shield. So that would be the only plus. But imagine trying to like shiny hunt to find a certain Terra type. Oh my god, that sounds brutal.
I mean, I know there's people out there who would fucking do it too.
A Drive would be one. I know that because if he needs like a certain hidden ability, he will grind and get multiple shinies of the wrong one.
Yep.
It's brutal. I don't have the patience for shiny hunting like a lot of people. Like Josh, man, the amount of time Josh spends shiny hunting.
Did he ever get that?
Get what?
The shiny he was hunting?
I mean, he's got hundreds of shinies.
Okay.
Yeah, no, Josh has gotten hundreds of shinies, but he's also dumped a stupid amount of time into getting them. And it's funny because, like, when it came to the DBA, shout out to that dead league, Josh was like really wanting his entire teams to be shiny, whatever. But then, like, later on, after he got like obviously his shit wrecked, he obviously did not win in the DBA. He openly admitted to me later, he's like, yeah, if I would have just spent more time practicing battling and not shiny hunting, I probably could have been a lot better. I was just like, yeah, man, that's what I was doing the whole time, was practicing battling, like nonstop. Practicing battling, looking up some damage calcs and stuff. That's what we got to spend time on, not just mindlessly running back and forth with a bike. Terra raids, though. The one thing that's about the Terra raids that's pretty sick is they changed how you can do the battle itself, which is amazing. I love it. Where you can continue attacking without having to wait for other trainers to choose their actions. Thank Christ. Because trying to pair up with some idiots online, bro, like they'll sit there for like the entire time. Like, just hit attack. I want to get this over with. Like, God, I'm so pumped about that part.
Yeah, they made an old RPG system of just your action bar's full, go.
Exactly. With the multiplayer, with the way they kind of talked about on the website with the blog posts and stuff, because I went and checked it out afterwards, it doesn't really seem to indicate that the multiplayer is literally anything else other than exploring raid battles and then battling each other. That's it.
That's sort of sad.
Yeah, so it's like, it gave me like Far Cry 4 vibes, because me and Andy used to do that, and there was no story content you do, just go around and fuck up shit. That was it. And, so that's the vibes that I got reading their post, is that's all you can really do.
Yeah.
Which if the map's big enough, that could be fun, but...
I mean, it could be fun, but also, I mean, like I said a couple times before, I like the idea of like someone like you heading to a gym, like going to do a gym battle, and then your buddy just walking in, throwing his mons down, and be like, "All right, 2v1, motherfucker."
Yep. See, I thought that'd be cool too, but I guess I can understand it not being there. But I mean, with the exploring aspect, and especially with how large this map is, I mean, they could set it up where it's like, we could all play, for example, and then go in different directions to try to find mons to complete our decks. And, in this chat over Discord, it's like, hey, I found this mon, he's here, So, I mean, there's those.
Or we can do something real wild of just jump into a game, say everyone go in direction, catch Pokemon for like
And then meet
an
back
hour,
up and
then
battle.
meet 'em out and just battle.
Let's do it. It's like, hey, I got this part of the map. You got that part. Let's go. I'm here for it. Let's go. That'd be fun. That'd be fun. That'd be probably a pretty fun YouTube video too. So we may have to look at that. Did get some new Pokemon revealed. Just 3. One of them. Well, apparently, technically 4. There was a 4th one in this Pokemon Presents, according to the leakers. Sea Titan, pure ice type, with Slush Rush and Thick Fat. Very, very good. Yeah, especially with
What?
that's his abilities.
He's going deeper into it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
For me, who's the most casual Pokemon, you
Yeah.
said stuff, and I went, "The fuck you said?"
Yeah. No, his default ability is Thick Fat, and I think that I think there was the hidden ability was Slush Rush. From how this dude looks, it looks like gonna be obviously a very hardcore physical attacker. I'm curious what his attack stat would be. Those 2 abilities, both very, very good. Fido, naturally capturing the internet's love, a little bred dog. It's a fairy
little
type.
Dog made out of dough.
Yep, love it. It's adorable. And then Paldean, a Wooper.
Best Pokemon.
Poison ground type, yeah. And then apparently the other Pokemon that was in this is there was like a shot of a car. The engine on the car is apparently a Pokemon. It's a poison steel type. But the leaker said that it is a Pokemon. So, but yeah, Paldean Wooper also claimed the hearts of the internet.
Shots fired at an engine that's poison steel type.
Yep. Yep. Man, they always be firing some shots, bro. I mean, like, do we need to go back and look at Gen 5?
I mean, we don't, but it's still funny.
There are some shots fired in a couple of those mons, like
It's
some
still
bad
funny.
shots fired. But yes, it is. It is. But yeah, no. Pokemon Presents, a lot of information came out of this. They post a lot of information afterwards. A lot of good shit. I'm very excited for the games. Just overall thoughts on just some of the stuff we chat about. How we feeling as a whole?
I mean, as a whole, it seems very good and should be very entertaining. My only thing is, with the whole exploration thing, I'll be curious to see how much that will go into effect, because I would like to see a bit more done with the multiplayer, just because they gave us multiplayer where people can be on one map together. Give us something.
Right.
Yeah, because it's like, especially if the idea is just explore together, battle each other, and do. It's like, yeah, just giving multiplayer in some games and just being like, here, you can play on the same map together. In some games that works out great, but for Pokemon, it's like, I mean, we can run off that way and both catch Pokemon, I guess.
Sure.
Or battle each other. But I mean, that's if that's the extent of it, then that could be a little disheartening. I mean, the idea, like Zach said, everybody kind of get on fresh. It's like no item, no nothing. Meet here, run off different directions. You get like an hour. That could be an entertaining way to battle.
Yeah.
But outside of that, it doesn't seem like there's a lot there.
I was about to say, because when they say multiplayer, the first thing you would think of Pokemon would be dual battles.
Yeah.
Being able to dual battle. So maybe we'll get a bit more about it
That is true. I mean,
closer to release. But because being able to run around, the first thing I thought when I heard that was being able to double battle.
yeah, I mean, that is something they could explore on, for like some post-game content with the Pokemon League, because it was with Sword and Shield. I think came with the Crown Tundra DLC, the ability to go in, like, pick a partner from some of the gym leaders and stuff and do double battles in the Pokemon League. That was part of the deal. So maybe that is a thing, and just in, like, post-game, is that we can pair up with friends and just go battle in, like, a bracket-esque format like how it was in Sword and Shield. Who knows? We'll see. John, you were going to say something?
But, I was just gonna say that, like, his thing of like dual battling is kind of where I was at, because I was like, like that idea of like being in a battle, your buddy showing up and being like, well, what's he gonna do if I just throw my mons out here and he has to battle me? It would be interesting if like he was like, oh shit, there's 2 of them now, and throws out another mon, or if there was someone nearby, like an NPC or someone nearby that showed up to battle as well. That's one of the things that I had thought would be interesting if they had given us that option.
Right. My prediction on this multiplayer thing is that it's going to be like super hype for like the first month while everyone's completing their Pokedex.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
after
and
that,
then outside of that, it's never gonna happen.
yeah, it'll be for like, hey, you want to do some raids? Yeah, sure. And that's about the extent that it's going to be.
Other than people coming up with weird ideas based on whatever we find out in the game.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Pokemon Presents, though, pretty solid. Really enjoyed it. Hello, let's take a quick moment to talk about one of our partners, Rogue Energy. You can check out some Rogue Energy with the referral link down below. Use promo code SPARKY3 for 10% off your order. Rogue has a little bit of everything for everyone. Energy formula, hydration formula, extreme, and even shakes. Lots of great shake your choices. Get a starter kit today using our referral link and promo code to get 10% off your order. We definitely appreciate that. Now back to the show. Let's hop over from there. Let's do Digimon Survive. Talk about that more.
All right, I'm going to go to sleep, guys.
All right, dude. Have a good nap. John, Digimon Survive. How are you feeling about it now? After
Yeah,
a week
I'm gonna
setting on
ask
it.
you a question here.
Okay.
Do you like the battling, like the tactics battling at all? I almost feel like this game could have gone without it.
Oof.
I do to an extent.
It feels more tedious than anything.
It does. Unfortunately it does. I do like it to an extent. Like when every time a battle does come up, I'm like, oh, all right, get to go do something else and play a visual novel. Let's go. But then we get into the battle and it just takes forever, and I'm just
Well, it
like,
takes forever
"Ugh."
because, like, if you do a free battle, you have anywhere from like 2 to 5 like opponents on the field,
Yep.
and 3 of them are just gonna run away.
Yep.
What?
Like they're gonna every turn they will actively run away from where
Yeah.
your
If it's like
units
rookie
are.
Digimon, they'll just bounce.
It's
Like fuck
yeah,
this.
it's like they'll just start running to the corner of the map and just try to hide.
I mean, it makes
And they'll-
sense, but still.
It's like, and then they'll only attack if like when you corner them on the other side. So it takes like 7 turns to even get to them.
Yep.
And then like for some of the story battles and that, the main boss enemy that you're supposed to be fighting will actively move towards you. But the rest of them will just kind of sit in their quadrant of the battlefield, and it's like, okay, we're gonna be over here for after you take him down, and then you got to come get us just to clear the mission.
Yeah, and then there's some missions, because I know I've had them in like part 5, for example, where it's like your mission is literally just take out the one that's coming at you, but then on the map, like behind you and over here, there are like other Digimon there, but they're like so far away that by the time they actually get to the point where you could fight them, you've already taken out the main Digimon and the mission's cleared. So it's like, okay.
Like the battling through, because we've both completed part 5
Yep.
now.
Yep.
And I don't know, some of like the visual novel stuff, like the main part of the game is the visual novel, and it's like I get much more excited at this point whenever I get the free actions or the exploration time in it than I do for when battles come up.
I could potentially agree to that.
Because I don't know, the battling side of it, it's not bad necessarily. There's annoying things with it. The battling is fun. Like if you're just doing, like if you get some free battles when you're not against like the rookie Digimon, they actually come at you. It's some fun to actually go in there and do it. Some of the story battles are pretty fun too. But for the most part, I am enjoying the visual novel aspect of it.
Just how are you
more
enjoying
than I
the
thought I
story?
would. I'm paying more attention to it than I thought I would after like day 1. Like I know you were kind of skipping through some of it.
Yeah, I did. That first like two parts is just hold your hand the whole time. Yeah, I did, boy. I got the gist of what was happening. We're scared. We're in the woods. There's monsters. We got to find everyone. I got it. Fucking stop holding my hand. I wanted to get to the point where my hand was no longer being held.
But yeah, no, I haven't really skipped through anything. I've been slow going it. Leave it on auto most of the time. Kind of read through it, and then when the exploration stuff comes in, it's like I'm double and triple checking every area that I can go to make sure I'm not missing anything.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, it's enjoyable. I mean, there's been some in like the exploration of the free action stuff. It's been interesting because the screenshot you sent me of like the text not being replaced.
Yeah.
I never saw that.
See, I didn't either, so I guess it got patched in with the
Wait,
day
what?
1 update. Yeah, there was a
placeholder text
Oh god.
from
that
QA.
never got replaced.
Yeah, someone found it. So, their game wasn't updated with the day one patch, and there was a dialogue point where QA had put on the screen. It's just like whatever our protagonist's name is, Tukama, whatever. His picture and name does not appear in this scene, and like people took screenshots and went all over Twitter. It was something just from QA process that didn't get fixed.
Oof.
But I guess it got patched with day one patch.
But yeah, no, it's like I've been like I said, the exploration and free action break points you get to like just break up the story bits of it. Those have been entertaining because I found that because there's always, at least in every one I've been in so far, depending on who you talk to and kind of what order and stuff, a lot more options do populate than you have points to.
Yes,
to
that is
interact
true.
with people.
That is true. Because you start
it's
off with like 9 to 11, and stuff just keeps popping up in terms of interaction. You really need to pick and choose what you want to do.
Yeah, because it's like there's a couple characters where like I just don't want to talk to them.
I feel that. Was
it's
Suji one? Was Suji one?
Yeah, I never talked
Fuck
to him.
that guy. That guy's such a prick.
Yeah,
Fucking hate
Shuji,
that piece of shit.
I refuse unless the option was there where I had to talk to him to make the story progress. I went and talked to everybody else and traveled around to find some other little plot point to talk about during those times.
He was such a dick to Lopemon, that motherfucker.
It's like it's so annoying.
It is.
Like Zach, imagine a character who's like, I'm the oldest one here, I'm gonna be the leader. But then he's a fucking prick, and then he doesn't know what to do and cries the whole time.
Yep.
And then when you talk, like when you tell him, "Hey, that's not helping," he yells at you.
Yep.
I mean, that sounds like a perfectly rational person in a situation who thinks he needs to take charge.
All right, I'm gonna turn his camera off. Hold on.
Fucker,
yeah,
I still got the switches.
No, I can just turn off your camera.
But yeah, no, it's
No, go
very.
back.
It's very much like the battling is kind of not taking any sort of high point for me. Stories, it's like I'm paying more attention to the story than I am the battling at this point.
Right.
And then it's like I'm not as worried about trying to collect all the Digimon anymore because it's like just having to do the talking points with them and it being a percentage. I told you when I first jumped in here, Alex, I lost a 50-50 coin flip 4 times in a row.
Yep.
For one of the Digimon, and it's like I just had to keep going into the battle, like because it's just a free battle that you gotta talk to them in, and it was just had to do it, and it's like, oh, they're not there again. I gotta do the battle so I can get them to repopulate back in.
Can you not just quit out of battle?
No.
You can restart the battle, or you can quit back to the menu, but it doesn't change. But if you do a free battle, then it repopulates what the enemies will be for the next battle.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
And I do
So it's
want to.
like
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so if it's not what you want to see or what you're looking for, you can just do the battle, and then it just refreshes who would be in there.
And I do want to say for people listening that that are Digimon fans and haven't picked up the game or just interested in it, what he's referring to is how you get more Digimon to your team and fill out like the Digidex, I guess is what I'll call it. You go do these free battles or Pokemon that are Digimon that are set to be there. And then how to recruit them is that you need to talk to them and answer questions. It gives you, they make some statement or whatever, and it gives you 4 choices, and you have to pick the one that is most likely to please them. And depending on the choice, it'll give you 1 point on a 6-point bar or 2 points, or it'll give you negative points if it's the answer they did not like. You have to get at least 3. And once that happens, you get the 3 chances to talk to them, whatever. Then, if you pass that 3-point or get to the 3-point, that you can have the choice to either ask them for an item or ask them to join your party. And joining your team, it's an X percentage chance, based on whatever. And it's honestly just more annoying and it's honestly more annoying and tedious than anything, to the point where I've just stopped doing it. Unless there's a mon that I really, 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 really love that pops up, I don't give a shit anymore. I'll just roll with the main ones. I really don't care at this point, especially since I have Growlmon. I'm good. I love Growlmon.
Yeah, I will say I'm glad I did do it for some of them. because it's made some of the story missions a hell of a lot easier.
Okay.
Just from rolling the dice on it on some of them, like because I lost a lot of coin flips early on, but it made up for it with me where like I think like because I think Tuskmon was one of them. It was like I think I had like an 18% chance on it. Got it first try.
Nice.
Couple of them were like that, so it's like luck kind of came back to me a little bit. But yeah, overall, I'm enjoying the game more than I was last week.
I agree. Now that I've got out of the hand holding stuff and actually got more into the story content, I would say I'm enjoying it a lot more. The story is good. I like the story, but it's just like that first part of the game is gonna be so rough for a lot of people. Where it's like I'm like what me and John said last week. You really got to be a Digimon fan, to if you want to make it through. That beginning portion is brutal because of how much your hand is held and how slow it is.
Oh yeah, honestly, like parts 3 and 4 were both. I enjoyed parts 3 and 4 quite a bit.
Yeah.
Part 5
was good, but it was long.
Part 5 started wearing on me because it went from like, okay, we're kind of progressing it, and then back to a point where it's like, okay, now let me wander through essentially a maze and find my friends one at a time.
Yep,
and
do
go
the
through
same
process 6 times.
Yep, that was annoying.
It's like that got tedious with me. I was starting to get a little annoyed with that, but
right.
Overall, it's like story's just been getting more and more interesting.
Yeah. I do want to give a couple shout outs for anyone that wants to play this game. I'm not gonna like hard say like this or that or anything, but I'm flirting with some spoilers on this because I do feel like this is good information to know. Where it's like when these moments happen, don't try to like reload a save file and prevent it from happening, right? So the couple things I do want to shout out is number one, keep in mind this is more of a horror based game. That is how this game is built with its horror themes, right? So the two things that I do want to shout out, just to keep in mind, is number one, Agumon, your choices matter for his evolutions. I'll leave it at that. Figure it out as you will. Number two, and again, this is me flirting with some spoiler stuff, so if you don't want to hear this, skip ahead like a minute and you'll be good. You will lose 2 characters. And I want to go ahead and say that because I don't, as I could see someone who doesn't want anyone to be lost, and like it happened and they try to reload to prevent it and they just can't. You will lose them no matter what. I found that out. Yeah. First playthrough, you cannot stop it.
Not savable.
Yes, they are not savable. So I didn't want to shout that out. I'm not saying who. I'm not saying when, but just keep that in mind. Don't try to reload and save them. It is not possible. Now you can save them on a new game plus, another your next run, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
Yeah. It's like you in the new game plus, you can technically save them.
Yep.
But you have to very actively try to save them.
Yeah, you have to like actively talk to them. Basically use your move pool wisely. And that's all I'll say. I wanted to stress that because again, I would be one of those people who.
So what you're telling me is during the first part, I should just play Third Eye Blind?
Yeah.
Might as well.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And it's possible that you can still lose others, but there's just 2 for sure, 2 set characters for sure, no matter what is gone first run. And you can potentially lose more depending, again, on your choices, because the 3 choices, the morale, the harmony, and the wrathfulness, depending on which way that you're floating throughout this game, will actually impact who the other ones are going to be that could potentially be lost. So that is a pretty interesting aspect, I will say.
Yeah. I think you said you're very heavily swinging one way.
Unfortunately.
With all your choices. I'm flip-flopping back and forth. It's like I'm either very straightforward and telling people what they don't want to hear, or I'm trying to be very agreeable.
See, I've been answering these in a way that I would personally answer them. So like I didn't realize how much that stuff impacted like certain elements until I'm pretty deep into this in terms of how far I've gone with one way. So I'm just like, well, potentially fucked in a couple areas. Let's go ahead and try to fix it and go one of the other ways and do my best. So now I'm just answering it based on, all right, that's that option. I'm picking it, just based on
Yeah.
like, the
See,
different
I'm
types.
I realized that the choices kind of mattered for like the evolution lines and that, but at the same time I'm like, we're just gonna roll with them for the most part. I'm still, unless there's an option that I look at and I'm like, I'm gonna pick this one just because it seems like something that a reasonable person wouldn't do. Like I've made a couple of those picks with it where I'm like, well, clearly nobody wants to do this, so I'm going to do it. Aside from a few of
That is a John
those,
move.
yeah, aside from a few of those, it's like I'm just kind of picking whichever one feels right in the moment and rolling with it. Whatever happens, happens. I'm not going for anything specific.
Now, with where we both are at this time, because we're only in part 6, we can't sit here and give it a proper rating. We'll have to do that later. But my question is for you: is this, like, with how the story is going and just the game itself? Is this a game that you would go and jump into a new game plus, or is it something that's just like it's going to be far on your back burner? Because this game's obviously
I was
built to do new game plus. That's the point.
well, I was thinking about it earlier because it seems like something that would be it wouldn't be bad to do a new game plus on, uh, because at least for the first portion of it, you can just hit that skip and roll into decision times, and then kind of up until you hit like whatever point it would be for a new path.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it might be something that I look into. It kind of just depends on playing the rest of the game, how the story feels from there.
Right. I could agree with that. And I also say with the new game plus, one benefit is that since we would have already obviously played the game, all of the dialogue you could essentially skip if you wanted to, like fast skip. Because
Yeah.
I've noticed that in a couple times where I'll like just going around whatever area, talk to a person I already talked to, just to see if there's anything else, and the skip would be on, right? And it just immediately flew through that because I already did it. I already talked to him once. So basically, it'll give you one time where it'll go where you can just skip it yourself, but it's not gonna auto skip through it. Like it'll appear, and you can just hit skip after all the text appears, or you manually skip it. But like if you have the skip on and it's a conversation you had, it will just automatically fly through in a heartbeat. So that could be one plus to a new game plus, is that you can skip all the just brutal beginning of the game. Any other thoughts on Digimon Survive, or are you ready to move on?
Yeah, I think I'm ready to move on. It's one of those where kind of kind of what we said last week. We were kind of unsure about it. Played it for a decent amount this week. It's getting better.
Yeah.
It's getting better. Each part has gotten better so far. So
Yeah. I will say playing this has just made me had the most irresistible, it's just the most brutal itch. I want to play the Digimon story games so bad. Like now I'm in a Digimon mood. I'm like, I look over the Digimon game story games on my shelf. I'm like, God, I want to play you right now, but I need to play this first. Are you a hardcore computer gamer, maybe looking for some new equipment for whatever your setup is? Well, let me talk to you about Redragon. You can use the referral link down below and promo code GameStat to get 10% off. Redragon has a little bit of everything at a much more friendly price than some of the higher competitors out there in the market. Keyboards, mouse pads, various types of keyboards, headphones, speakers, everything of the sort. Redragon's got it all. Definitely pick up some Redragon. I've been using them for years and cannot recommend them enough. Let's get back to the show. All right. Anyway. So Gotham Knights. We did have some gameplay. First 16 minutes revealed from IGN. Their IGN First for August. So the first thing that I did notice right away with this gameplay, a lot more positive online. A lot more positive feedback online from people, because people actually this game has been a mixed bag.
Yes.
For a while for reactions. A lot of people comment on this one, how they felt like it was more polished, looked a lot better than all the other presentations they've done so far. I thought it looked really fun. I like the different aspects about, because I know you shout this out right when you started watching it, where it's just like choose who you want in that exact situation. They chose Batgirl, whatever, to move forward with it. And then there's just the different elements in there where it's like a mix of your normal stealthy combat, just open, out in the open combat, plus the detective work that kind of goes into it as you're like in this particular 16 minutes checking out like a crime scene, scanning the area, stuff like that. I mean, like I said before, when we got like the last gameplay, I get, me personally, I just see a lot of Spider-Man vibes. But I did ask at the time, like, hey, did Spider-Man start that or Batman Arkham? Because I didn't play the Batman Arkham games. But I know you watched. What was your overall thoughts on this?
I mean, my overall thoughts of the first 16 minutes is it honestly didn't reveal a whole lot to me other than just how the game looked, because a lot of the aspects of it was just, for the most part, polished up and sort of different flavored versions of stuff that was already in the Arkham games, which I don't know if it's just going to be it's going to be the same for all 4 characters, whether it was just that way for Batgirl, because I mean, in all the Arkham games, you already had investigation scenes and whatnot, but it seemed like it was a lot more streamlined with this one, with the Batgirl stuff and whatnot, especially with the whole figuring out the code to the secret room and whatnot. Because I did not play the last Arkham game, so I don't know if they added that into the last one or not, but all that fun stuff. As you said, when selecting your character, I liked how they did it, they did it, and just it was the 4 of them meeting and agreeing on what they were going to do next, and you just sort of pick from that meeting of who's going to go check the place out. Or, as far as we're aware, maybe if you choose one of the other characters, they go check somewhere else out. As for combat and whatnot, specifically with Batgirl, I mean, it didn't seem a whole lot different other than just having Batgirl-esque type moves and whatnot from what I remember from the Arkham games. The one thing I did sort of note, though, especially in the... I don't even remember the room because I sort of started skipping through just to see what the combat was, is the room when Batgirl was fighting the group of them. It seemed a lot wider area than I remember from a lot of the Arkham games. The Arkham games did have some wider areas where you fought in, but then you were also usually being bombarded by hordes of enemies, or there was going to be some sort of boss fight. Because I remember a lot of the Arkham fights being in a lot of more close quarters, quick fighting where Batman decks a room of guys in like a minute.
Right.
Versus this one, it was a lot wider open. She had a lot of space in between them to use the bat rings and whatnot and take people out. And then the fight against the shield guy, which I assumed was just an elite enemy and not necessarily a boss, because he seemed very simple for a boss. And just seeing,
I thought the same thing. I thought it was very simple for a boss.
And just that simple mechanic of just having to move out of the way and get behind him to be able to really damage him, or could knock the shield out of the way for a moment and whatnot. So, I mean, overall, it looked very good and polished. As for anything outside of regular Arkham games, which I guess technically this isn't an Arkham game, but it's from that series. Because I don't know if it's even the same studio doing. Is it? Is it
No.
Rocksteady?
No.
Okay.
It's WB Montreal.
Okay. But it's more or less taking up from where the Arkham games left off. So, I mean, does it look nice? Yes. Has it excited me for anything more than just an Arkham game with characters other than Batman? Not really.
Okay. I'm still pretty excited for the game, personally. I think everything that they've shown so far, like it's, a lot of the hate that this game has got online, I mean, I can see aspects of it, but it's just like I see what the game is trying to go for, and I guess people are just expecting something more and they're not getting it. But I don't know, maybe with this past gameplay reveal, and again, with this being IGN First, we should get more throughout this month.
Hopefully.
Kind of like they did with Sonic, which that was a botch. But anyway, so hopefully this one won't. Good first start. Already on a better start than what Sega allowed IGN to do, so that's cool. But like I feel like as we get further into the month, and you maybe get to even explore more elements of just like the game itself. Like, 'cause I know one thing that I noted from this that I enjoy, because I enjoy this in all games like this. This is one of my drawing points for games like this. Is just like the banter between them, because it was sprinkled in throughout.
Yes.
It's just the banter between them, and that's something that I immensely enjoy about games like these. It's just the banter between whoever your team or squad is or whatever. So I mean, I'm still pretty pumped for the game. I was planning on getting the deluxe edition personally, so I'm looking forward to that game for Xbox. Hopefully, we can all play. I'm gonna play. I'm getting it.
Zach, I'll play with you.
I will play. I will play. I will play. I swear. I want to play this game. Looks great.
We'll see.
I'm excited for it. John, did you have any thoughts on this? I know you didn't watch the 16 minutes, but any thoughts you want to shout out there?
Yeah, I didn't watch it. I mean, I don't. Not having seen it, I mean, I'm still excited for the game. I just didn't pay attention to the fact that this had come out.
Mhm.
Uh, but I assume that for the most part, it's probably what I've come to expect from seeing games that kind of have this similar combat style.
Yes.
If anything, when Zach was talking about like the more open kind of open fighting area that they were in, it's like 'cause as soon as you were saying that, I was like, yeah, Arkham games tend to be. I haven't played all the Arkham games, but I played some. They do tend to be in a more enclosed environment where it's happening. So having a little more open space, I mean,
And which my thought on that was they may have made it more open just because we do know it's going to have that co-op feature. As far as we're aware, it's just 2 people. Or did they finally say it was going to be 4-person co-op?
That's a great question, actually.
Because I know last time, whenever they said it was only going to be 2 people, but people were harking about wanting to have 4-person co-op because you have all 4 characters
Yeah,
playable.
Right. It makes sense.
But I don't know if they ever came back out and said anything about it. I'd have to double check into that. But I mean, with the co-op aspect being known, and as far as I'm aware, the co-op's going to be from the start,
Yeah.
unless you have to go through the prologue first. So that would have definitely explained for the bigger area, but even then, it's still very wide. But then again, it could have also been wide just because it did have that fight with the shielder whose big thing was charging at you and you dodging out of the way. Because usually when there was bigger rooms in any of the Arkham games, it was for some sort of setup like that. There was going to be either waves of enemies or something you had to move out of the way of, like the Bane fights. Well, one of the Bane fights, I should say. Yeah, because most of it was close quarters. You just decked people and carried on.
Right. Right. Okay. Okay.
yeah, looks at least from what I'm seeing upon a very quick search, two players for co-op.
That's what I was thinking last I heard.
I wonder if 4 would come later. I don't know, because like that is a great point. You got 4 characters, so why not?
I mean, it would mostly be balanced on how they did their game. So if they did it specifically for 2 people and didn't count for 4 people.
Yeah, I did see one thing during the quick search. It said Gotham Knights always designed for 2 players.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, that still may not be a bad experience, though, honestly.
I mean, honestly, it should be a good experience because from what we saw from the first, it looks like they have a very fleshed out story like most the Arkham series games have. And until they say otherwise, I'm just going to assume it's part of the Arkham series. And everything looked good and polished. Looked like they didn't say, but it was either running on. It was PlayStation 5 it was running on because it's only on next gen consoles.
Yes, correct.
So I mean, it looked good and everything. So
Right. I mean, yeah, the gameplay itself, like, well, again, while it may be like lackluster for some other people, I'm already personally sold on it. It's fine for me. I think it looks like it's enough fun for me to enjoy. So now I'm just waiting to see when the game comes out, like how much is the story going to really grab me. And I already feel like it probably would. Honestly, I feel like it's going to have a pretty good story. I just know for me personally, gameplay wise, yeah, it looks good. I'm fine with it.
I mean, gameplay wise, if you like the Arkham games gameplay, you'll probably like this one.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Next thing we have up here. Zach, one of your games has returned from the dead.
It's not dead, though, is the funny thing.
I know, it's not dead. Evolve, making a resurgence in 2022. You sent this in our general chat, and I'm just like, no shit, really?
Yeah, I saw this article, and it had just been posted up like 4 hours ago, and I went, it's not dead!
It's like, let's go.
Because I got hardened to Evolve. Like, so caption on this, Evolve's not dead on PC. Consoles, it's still dead as hell.
It's dead.
It's super dead. And the reason why it's still alive on PC, for anyone who didn't know, is peer-to-peer servers were made a thing. And that's how Evolve Stage 2 stayed alive, even after Turtle Rock and 2K gave up on Evolve, tried to sweep it on the rug and everything, and moved on. Peer-to-peer servers stayed up, and people were still doing that till some sort of update on Steam killed that. And then people hit up the 2K Discord and it's just like, hey, what happened? There's peer-to-peer servers. What'd y'all do? And 2K went, oh, look at that. Flip. hey, it's back up. Have fun, guys.
Have a good one.
And they flipped them back on at the beginning of July, and people were like, yeah, and everything. And apparently, at the time of release of that article, which was I think just last week, Valve skyrocketed in player rates as soon as those peer-to-peers went out, getting as many concurrent players as Back for Blood, the next game Turtle Rock Studios did, which they're not Turtle Rock Studios anymore, but the Turtle Rock Studios team worked on.
Right.
So their new game, which also shout out to Back for Blood, they announced their second DLC, Children of the Worm. So they got two games that have the same amount of concurrent viewers. One made back in 2016 and one that came out in 2020.
It's good to see a game from the past make a resurgence. I'm glad that you had your resurgence with Evolve.
So Evolve is still super fun. I mean, the only thing is I was an Xbox player of it, so I am switching over to PC, which is fine. Most of the skills, most of my knowledge is still good, but there is some quality of life and whatnot stuff that came to PC when they went free to play and whatnot, which I am slightly adjusting to and whatnot. And the fact of that Evolve Stage 2 is probably the best free-to-play setup right now, because since it is sort of dead, literally everything is buyable with the in-game currency. And when I say everything, I mean everything. Characters, skins, ability rank-ups. You don't have to put a single dime into that game if you're willing to grind out.
Oh, okay. That's actually pretty solid. It's good to know. And you've been enjoying that this week. I'm glad. I'm glad that you had a resurgence.
Yeah, I got to play Evolve again. It's been fun.
Now let's talk about one of our sponsors, SwiftGrips. If you're a hardcore gamer using a controller and maybe playing a lot of FPS, and maybe you're like me and you got some really sweaty hands, you don't want your thumbs slipping off the controllers in a heated situation, maybe looking at some controller grips is the way to go. Well, let me tell you about SwiftGrips. They're the best gaming grips on the market by far. Great entry point price, lots of different colors. Definitely recommend them using promo code Gamestetic to get 10% off your order. We definitely appreciate that. Now let's get back to the magic. Well, I think it's time for the weekly wrap up. Unless you guys have anything else you want to add on to anything of the talking points.
Yeah, Back for Blood announced its second DLC, Children of the World. Gonna add a fifth campaign.
Fifth campaign?
Yeah, so there's gonna be an Act 5 now. They're adding new enemy types, which are gonna be people instead of zombies, or not zombies because they're not called zombies. They're zombies. A new character who's going to be a self-proclaimed prophet named Dan. And he's got a shit-eating grin, and he's got a friggin' twirl mustache and everything. New exclusive skins for that act. New weapons. They're adding, I assume, traps, because one of the ones in the screenshot they showed was a bear trap. So that's going to be interesting. And more or less a whole bunch of new content besides just the Tunnels of Terry that we got. Okay. Which the tunnels are pretty fun DLC, but it has its whole own little thing. But getting a whole new campaign will be nice.
Okay. All right, let's jump into the weekly wrap up then. Wrap up the show in a beautiful fashion. So the first thing we got here, which Zach did check this out a little bit, is we got a new dating sim out into the world. New dating sim, Hooked on You, a Dead by Daylight dating sim. Shout out to that. Zach, you touched on this. How'd it go?
I mean, I didn't play it or anything. I just saw it.
Okay, I thought you played it.
No. I just saw it.
It wouldn't surprise me if you did.
If I was really bored, I probably would have. I mean, yeah, it's just a weird dating sim game like the KFC one where you can go and date 4 of the killers on Killers. I think it's like Killer's Paradise Island is what it's called. And 2 of
John, are you gonna play this? I see that look in your eye.
No, I went to the Steam.
It's a bestseller.
On my computer. No, I went to it and I was like, oh, maybe it's still under new and trending. No, but only Fap Simulator 2 is on there.
Hell yeah, only Fap Simulator 2, baby. Let's go.
It's not the only one. Apparently, it's number 2.
There you go.
That's why I was laughing. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, it's just a visual novel for anybody who's really into the killers and decide, I want to date a killer. So in the game you can...
That's a red flag. I'm going to tell you right now, that's a red flag, guys.
So in the game, for anyone who's interested, you can try and romance the trapper, Wraith, the Spirit, and Huntress. And Huntress is beefy as fuck.
All right, I'm gonna have to play this dating sim.
And then for some reason, Dwight and I forget her name, Claudia, they're apparently employees on the resort, the Killer's Paradise Resort, and they just hang around and show up at random times.
Oh man, I did see where another dating sim that we've had some jokes at before was leaving Game Pass. Boyfriend Dungeon was leaving Game Pass.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I saw that, and the first thing I thought of was, "Don't tickle my hilt," and I just started laughing. Oh man, shout out to that game. That game is wild. But yeah, shout out to Dead by Daylight Dating Sim. I'm gonna have to hit our other friend Zach up and ask him if he's gonna play it or not, because he 100% would.
He's big into Dead by Daylight.
He would
anyways.
100% play it. I've seen the shit on his Steam. He would 100% play it, no doubt in my mind. All right, the next thing that we got here is we did get official confirmation. Tactics Ogre Reborn officially announced with that 11/11 date. So that should be pretty cool. I might pick this up and try it, because I looked at this game because it was on PSP, correct?
I couldn't remember, to be honest.
I'm pretty sure it was on PSP because I recently got a new PSP again, and that was one of the games on my list where I was like, oh yeah, if I find that, I'm gonna buy it because I would like to play it. Just getting more and more into tactics games, so I may pick that up. Definitely won't play it day one though, because I'm gonna have God of War and something else came. Did something else come out that week? No.
Yes, something else will be in the God of War graveyard.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. What else was supposed to be? It was that's right. It was potentially Sonic was in the God of War graveyard, and they changed it. Yeah,
it's dead as fuck.
Yeah. It's just like, thanks guys, you're sending Sonic out to die. Appreciate that. Next thing we have here is a rumor. Just wanted to shout this out in case something else comes out of it later. Apparently, a rumor that EA is working on an Iron Man game. That would actually be that'd be really cool just to get an actual Iron Man game happen. You know, the only one that we really had was the Iron Man VR. EA is kind of an iffy one though, but this is the finest example of a rumor. This was from Tom Henderson that initially put it out there, and he flat out said, "Yeah, I would stick this strictly in the rumor mill, but I have heard a lot of talk that EA's like next Marvel game they're working on is Iron Man." So that would be one that I think would be really cool.
Hey, it can only be better than the most recent DC game, which I'm not even sure why someone shilled out to bank it.
Which one is that?
It's fucking DC Super Dogs or something like that.
Oh, you're talking about the movie?
No, like,
because I know that's a movie.
It's a movie,
with
but
Dwayne
they also made a game to go, I guess, to hype it up, and it's some real shitty on rails shooter. Like,
oh, okay.
Like, it's real shitty looking.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that. Next thing that we have here is Koch Media has officially rebranded to Play On. I saw a lot of jokes that they rebranded because no one knew how to pronounce their name, which, fair. You know, people would say Koch Media, people would say Koch Media. No one would really know how to pronounce their name. So now they are now known as Play On.
All right.
So shout out to them. Next thing we got here is apparently Tencent has raised its stake in Ubisoft. Initially had a 5% stake in 2018, and it's definitely raised that with all the struggles that Ubisoft has had here recently. They're just trying to leave their mark there, trying to become one of the primary shareholders for Ubisoft because they view Ubisoft as a valuable asset, is exactly what they said.
I mean, all Tencent is going, join us in the mobiles.
Basically, yes.
We'll bring you down.
Basically. Yeah, no, Tencent being the dark horse ended up being the primary like shareholder, aka the owner of Ubisoft. Yeah. Didn't see that one coming, but makes sense now that we're here. Next thing that we have, still talking about potential ownership changing here, is that, you know, which we've talked about this a little bit before, especially after the sale of all of the Western publishers. Mm-hmm. You know, it felt like they were aiming to try to set themselves up to get purchased and get a lot of stuff off their baggage. Square Enix is reportedly, you know, seeking to be purchased, you know, seeking to sell stakes in its studio and concentrate resources on Japanese games and stuff, which we already knew based on them getting rid of all of their Western publishers for really what a lot of people consider chump change at 300 mil. So Now it's just like, all right, Sony, where you at? Everyone's just waiting for Sony.
I was about to say either Sony or Sega's going to scoop that shit up.
Well, I don't think Sega could. Well, they might be.
They might, maybe.
Maybe. Sony would be the one.
Yeah, Sony would be the big
especially
one.
with how long they've worked together. I mean, it would 100%. Everyone and their mother's just like, all right, Sony, when are you going to make the announcement? We're waiting on it.
Tencent.
Yeah, Tencent sweeps it. Hey, Tencent could too. They could, man. Tencent has so much money, but no one realizes it.
I mean, if Tencent came and scooped it up, I mean, prepare for Square Enix RPGs for having as many microtransactions as possible. Oh, you want to buy this item from the shop owner? Pay us $1. You want to go to this city? Pay us $5.
Basically, exactly.
Hey, you want an RPG? Pay full price, then pay $10 for every new city.
Exactly. That's a scary future, honestly. And the last thing here that we have for the weekly wrap-up, this is per Jason Schreier and Bloomberg. Apparently, Blizzard NetEase had canceled a mobile World of Warcraft spin-off game that's been in development for 3+ years. It was an MMORPG set in the same universe of WoW, but in a different time period. Development team of 100+ people was disbanded.
Oof.
Yeah. I don't know what it exactly means by disbanded. Like, are they just being moved to other projects, I would naturally assume, and not just fired? But apparently, some other talks about it is that in terms of this is kind of falling apart. They couldn't agree to money is what it came down to. So, and I would also imagine that maybe Microsoft had a little play in this. Maybe they wanted to pull the plug on it for whatever reason. I don't know. That sale should be, honestly, that should be completed a lot sooner than we think, from what I've been seeing. Activision Blizzard going to Microsoft. That should be done a lot sooner than we think. So keep an eye out for that. But that's everything in the weekly wrap up. Did you boys have anything that you want to shout out that wasn't on the script? Anything that we chat about? Anything of the sorts?
I don't think I have anything coming to mind right now.
I'll be honest. I don't know if I electrically signed a NDA. I don't remember seeing one, but Breakers is entertaining.
Oh, that's right. You're playing Breakers. I forgot about that. This dude always gets in.
I mean, I honestly don't remember if I signed an NDA, so I'm not going to say more than that.
Okay. Well, find out if you did. Find out if you did.
I don't remember seeing one, but I'll double check.
Yeah, find out if you did. I forgot.
I'm so used to just clicking through that stuff. I was like, was there an NDA?
Oh my god. Well, see, now that you're in a video game podcast, you need to check this stuff. Shout out to Breakers. I only launched it $30. Yeah, I checked that out the other day because I was looking at what I wanted to buy it for. I was probably just going to buy it for Xbox. So, yep. I imagine that's what we'll all have it on. It's just Xbox. So.
Just because PS5s are still hard as fuck.
That is true. Shout out to that. PS5 is just a tough thing right now. But who knows when that will improve. Maybe once this like new PS5 model, that comes out, supposedly, that just has a few different parts.
Yeah.
It's not an actual different model. If you find a PS5, fucking get it. Maybe once that happens with some more readily available parts, might be a little bit better. I mean, on the plus side, like, we've seen a change in like graphics cards, where they're becoming more in stock again. Prices have kind of started to go as they should at MSRP. So maybe PS5 is around the corner too. We'll see. Just depends on, I feel like, if this other model comes out or not. But yeah, if you guys don't have anything else, hit the music. Get out of here. Feeling it? Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Hit the music.
All right. Like, comment, subscribe, rate, whatever your platform allows. It does help. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can hit that subscribe button and help us build that community. And you can also go to the Gamesthetic YouTube and also hit subscribe there and really help us out.
True.
As well, thank you. Hit the bell. Let it notify you whenever videos come up. Maybe only on one channel, though, because I highly doubt you want us to see us come up twice on Gamesthetic and Sparky 3.
That's true. I will be uploading to both.
Well, thank you very much. Bye.
Do everything he said and more. And if you made it to the end of the episode, thank you very much. And hopefully you'll join us again next week. And hopefully we'll see you on some of our other channels as well, or other shows. Thank you.
And especially make sure to check us out at our website, sparky3.com. You sign up for free or you sign up $5 a month. We definitely appreciate that. Promo code TechProbs with the Z for 25% off everything at sparky3shop.com. Join the Discord down in the description below. Especially if you are a football fan, Terrible Football Show has come back with live shows. We will be taking callers. And we would definitely appreciate if you checked out the Gamesthetic dedicated YouTube channel. We do want to move over there at some point just because it will ultimately help grow the show. Once we get to a certain subscriber count, we'll be migrating the show over there. There was something else I was going to say. What was it? Sponsors and partnerships. Check out all those. All the links down in the description below. Use your referral link, promo codes, all that stuff. And also keep an eye out for the channel this week. I have a very fun video planned for this week that I'm looking forward to doing, so keep an eye out for that. And then, of course, make sure to keep an eye out for Gamesthetic episode 100 coming up very, very soon, which will be featuring on us ranking 25 video game consoles. And that's going to be pretty hype. I think the music is about to end. Nope, no, I didn't. All right, cool. All right, with that said, guys, have a good one. See you next time. Bye.